We now cross the threshold from the cold, stone walls of Capricorn's fortress into the wide open sky of the first decan of Aquarius, the 1st to 10th degrees. This opening sector is ruled entirely by Saturn, classically, and Uranus, modernly, giving it the raw, unadulterated essence of the water-bearer. While Capricorn was about climbing the established hierarchy, Aquarius is about looking down from the summit to see how the whole collective can be upgraded. This decan represents the revolutionary, the social architect, and the paradigm shifter. Here, your planets shake off the weight of personal ego and tribal tradition to look at the world through the lens of objective truth, systemic innovation, and humanitarian progress. The core lesson of this degree range is learning how to stand firmly in your unique individuality so you can group up with like-minded minds and reconstruct society from the ground up. 1 degree Aquarius, placed from 0.0 to 0.9. The Sabian symbol, an old adobe mission. Symbol meaning: this degree represents anchoring progressive, futuristic ideals into a durable, time-tested human sanctuary. It highlights where a planet seeks to build an enduring emotional or spiritual refuge that outlasts fleeting social trends, preserving an essential human warmth within the cold network of society. What the planets mean here. Sun, a visionary community founder, sustainable architect, or humanitarian leader who commands quiet authority by building grassroots sanctuaries for the collective. Moon finds emotional security in simple, traditional communal spaces, possesses a deeply protective, enduring instinct to care for the marginalized. Mercury, mind excels at designing localized community layouts, studying historical social movements, and communicating timeless humanitarian truths with absolute clarity. Venus, drawn to community organizers or alternative builders, values enduring, grounded friendships and relationships built on shared ideological foundations. Mars, driven to build physical shelters, set up localized cooperative grids, or fight fiercely to protect the sanctuary space of a community. Jupiter, exceptional luck with funding grassroots eco-villages, securing land grants for community non-profits, or restoring ancient communal properties. Saturn, overcoming an intense early feeling of isolation or social homelessness, mastering the concrete, step-by-step discipline required to build your own tribal sanctuary. 2 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol, an unexpected thunderstorm. Symbol meaning: this degree represents a sudden, electric breakthrough that shatters stagnation and clears the air. It highlights where your planets act as a catalyst for sudden change, bringing a flash of higher insight that disrupts rigid, outdated structures to jumpstart evolution. What the planets mean here. Sun, a striking revolutionary, avant-garde artist, or tech disruptor whose sheer presence acts as an electric wake-up call to everyone around them. Moon, experiences sudden, volatile shifts in mood that lead to profound emotional breakthroughs, reacts to emotional stagnation with a lightning-fast reset. Mercury, mind is engineered for sudden strokes of genius, invention, cracking complex system codes, and delivering shockingly honest, electrifying ideas. Venus, attracted to highly unpredictable, brilliant, or electric partners, loves sudden whirlwind romances and craves a relationship that breaks all standard rules. Mars, drive is explosive, unpredictable, and highly innovative, excels at launching sudden corporate raids, executing lightning-fast tech rollouts, or leading radical rebellions. Jupiter, spectacular luck with sudden windfall investments, explosive viral marketing campaigns, tech startup buyouts, or pioneering atmospheric science data. Saturn, facing early trauma or deep anxiety surrounding sudden, chaotic life disruptions, learning to build an unshakable inner lightning rod to master the storm. 3 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol, a deserter from the Navy. Symbol meaning: this symbol represents the ultimate act of individual rebellion, willingly walking away from rigid institutional programming to reclaim your own soul. It shows where a planet must reject collective peer pressure and corporate groupthink to walk an independent path. What the planets mean here. Sun, a bold nonconformist, whistleblower, or sovereign freelancer who walks away from a prestigious corporate position to live entirely on their own terms. Moon refuses to follow standard family expectations or emotional conditioning, needs complete freedom from emotional obligation to feel truly safe. Mercury, mind is highly independent and skeptical of official narratives, excels at writing anti-establishment literature, investigative whistleblowing, and independent research. Venus, drawn to outcasts, rebels, or fiercely independent individualists, values relationships that exist entirely outside conventional societal contracts. Mars, driven to break free from suffocating corporate or military chains, channels energy into independent contracting, freelancing, or fighting systemic overreach. Jupiter, great fortune with winning wrongful termination or whistleblower lawsuits, independent trading, or building a successful business completely outside your home country. Saturn, overcoming severe early guilt, institutional conditioning, or the fear of being labeled a traitor, mastering the immense courage required to stand entirely alone in your truth. 4 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol, a Hindu healer demonstrates his healing power to a skeptical crowd. Symbol meaning, this degree represents demonstrating alternative truth, bridging Eastern/Western paradigms, and overcoming closed-minded skepticism through undeniable results. It shows where your planets must confidently display unique, unconventional talents without needing initial validation. What the planets mean here. Sun, a pioneer of alternative medicine, energy healer, or fringe tech developer who commands deep respect by letting their concrete results silence the critics. Moon, possesses a highly intuitive, esoteric emotional intelligence, stays completely calm and unbothered when surrounded by cold, hyper-rational skeptics. Mercury, mind excels at translating complex metaphysical laws into practical, undeniable logic, studying energy medicine, and winning high-stakes ideological debates. Venus, drawn to energy healers, spiritual teachers, or deeply esoteric minds, values a relationship based on energetic alignment rather than superficial status symbols. Mars, driven to prove the validity of alternative systems, channels physical energy into practicing yoga, mastering acupuncture, or launching pioneering wellness platforms. Jupiter, spectacular luck with global wellness franchising, importing esoteric medical technology, or securing major funding by proving a fringe theory correct. Saturn, facing early ridicule, imposter syndrome, or systemic gatekeeping regarding your unique gifts, mastering your alternative craft so thoroughly that the world cannot deny you. 5 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol, a council of ancestors, is seen implementing the efforts of a young leader. Symbol meaning, this degree represents the beautiful synthesis of past wisdom and future innovation. It highlights where a planet receives invisible, ancestral, or historical backing, proving that your progressive ideas are actually supported by the deepest roots of human experience. What the planets mean here. Sun, a legendary cultural reformer or next-gen executive who successfully updates a timeless legacy, perfectly balancing innovation with ancestral honor. Moon, deeply connected to the collective human archive, feels emotionally guided by ancestral dreams, spirit guides, or a profound sense of historical destiny. Mercury, mind is optimized for rewriting ancient philosophies for a modern tech audience, evolutionary sociology, and channeling deep, timeless historical insights. Venus, drawn to partners who possess a timeless, old soul wisdom but maintain a progressive worldview, values relationships that feel historically fated. Mars, drive is fueled by an unseen collective wind, channels energy into completing a lineage task, executing ancestral real estate transitions, or leading a generational crusade. Jupiter, exceptional fortune with family estate management, inheriting rare historical data archives, or receiving massive financial backing from established old-world institutions. Saturn, overcoming early feelings of being abandoned by your elders or detached from history, discovering that you are the exact vessel chosen to carry their wisdom into the future. 6 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol, a masked figure performs ritualistic acts in a mystery play. Symbol meaning, this degree represents depersonalizing your identity to act as a vessel for a universal archetype. It shows where a planet operates best by putting personal ego aside, donning the necessary social mask, and playing an essential, symbolic role for the collective. What the planets mean here. Sun, a brilliant ritualist, stage actor, or symbolic public leader who masterfully uses costuming, mystery, and performance to shift the public consciousness. Moon, emotionally processes life through universal myth and storytelling, keeps their true personal life fiercely hidden behind an intriguing public persona. Mercury, mind excels at dramatic writing, analyzing archetypal psychology, decoding secret society rituals, and communicating via highly potent symbolism. Venus, attracted to performance artists, actors, or mysterious, private individuals, loves highly aesthetic, theatrical relationship dynamics and secret gatherings. Mars, channels physical energy into ceremonial magic, ritualistic performance arts, martial arts choreography, or working as a highly effective, anonymous agent. Jupiter, great fortune with major theater and film productions, running exclusive member-only societies, or investing in virtual reality avatar designs. Saturn, overcoming an early crisis of identity or feeling like a complete fake, discovering that your public masks are legitimate structural tools used to move the collective forward. 7 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol, a child is seen being born out of an egg. Symbol meaning, this degree represents radical rebirth, emerging from a protective shell, and stepping into an entirely new dimension of existence. It highlights where a planet undergoes a complete, evolutionary mutation, breaking free from old limitations to experience a brand new life. What the planets mean here. Sun, a highly transformative innovator, geneticist, or evolutionary thinker who experiences sudden, life-defining awakenings that completely rewrite their path. Moon, possesses an incredibly adaptable emotional blueprint, capable of completely shedding an old personality or lifestyle overnight to begin fresh. Mercury, mind is geared toward embryology, hatching completely new economic systems, evolutionary biology, and inventing brand new conceptual paradigms. Venus, seeks a love that triggers an absolute emotional rebirth, drawn to highly unconventional, fresh-faced, or profoundly transformative individuals. Mars, driven to hatch new projects, channels energy into launching cutting-edge incubators, laboratory gestation technologies, or pioneering radical startups. Jupiter, spectacular fortune with biotechnology investments, funding incubator programs, poultry or hatchery industries, and patenting early-stage tech breakthroughs. Saturn, overcoming a suffocatingly claustrophobic early environment or a rigid, protective shell, mastering the difficult, necessary struggle of breaking out to claim your freedom. 8 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol, beautifully gowned wax figures on display. Symbol meaning, this symbol represents the idealization of form, public curation, and observing high societal standards from an objective distance. It shows where a planet seeks perfection, setting an impeccable baseline of beauty, fashion, or behavior that influences the collective without getting emotionally entangled. What the planets mean here. Sun, a premier fashion designer, museum mannequin display curator, or high-end influencer who sets the cultural standards of elegance and style. Moon, emotionally detached and observant, views social beauty standards like an art gallery critic, finding safety in pristine, perfectly curated aesthetics. Mercury, mind excels at marketing psychology, visual merchandising layouts, writing style guides, and analyzing the superficial trends of human culture. Venus, absolute love for high fashion, tailoring, and synthetic beauty, drawn to models, designers, or individuals who present an absolutely flawless public image. Mars, driven to perfect the material presentation, channels physical energy into creating wax sculptures, managing high-end window displays, or directing fashion shows. Jupiter, exceptional luck with investing in high-end cosmetic manufacturing, clothing empires, modeling agencies, or museum waxwork exhibitions. Saturn, overcoming early body image insecurities or feeling like a plastic prop in someone else's show, mastering the art of presentation to command respect on your own terms. 9 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol, a flag is seen turning into an eagle. Symbol meaning. This degree represents turning abstract patriotism or political theory into raw, dynamic, living power. It highlights where a planet takes a static collective ideal, the flag, and breathes real life and sovereign action, the eagle, into it, soaring above standard political boundaries. What the planets mean here. Sun, a fierce civil rights champion, aviation pioneer, or geopolitical leader who takes high-minded national ideals and manifests them into real, sovereign freedom. Moon, emotionally fueled by the spirit of absolute liberty, refuses to be caged by simple nationalist rhetoric, seeking a higher, universal perspective on human rights. Mercury, mind is sharp, strategic, and macro-focused, excels at international law, aviation engineering, drafting declarations of independence, and soaring rhetoric. Venus, drawn to fiercely independent, sovereign, or high-flying individuals, values a relationship that offers mutual freedom, wild exploration, and zero domestic caging. Mars, maximum drive for personal and collective sovereignty, channels energy into drone aviation technology, environmental defense, or spearheading active liberation movements. Jupiter, spectacular fortune with investing in aerospace engineering, commercial aviation routes, global human rights foundations, or international trade agreements. Saturn, overcoming deep early experiences of political oppression or being trapped by national dogma, mastering the legal and strategic steps to achieve ultimate sovereign freedom. 10 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol, a popularity counter. Symbol meaning. This final degree of the decan represents the objective measurement of collective resonance, algorithmic tracking, and public consensus. It highlights a planet that perfectly understands the numbers game of human society, utilizing analytics and social data to track human behavior. What the planets mean here. Sun, a master pollster, social media algorithm architect, or pop culture icon who perfectly tracks, reads, and navigates the shifting currents of mass public approval. Moon, deeply aware of how they are perceived by the group, tracks social dynamics analytically to ensure they maintain their standing and emotional safety in the tribe. Mercury, mind is a flawless data calculator, optimized for building statistical tracking software, handling census metrics, social media analytics, and digital polling. Venus, attracted to highly popular, socially influential, or public-facing figures, values a relationship that is highly valued, respected, and verified by the wider network. Mars, driven by measurable public engagement, channels energy into optimizing viral content loops, running high-stakes political campaigns, or scaling digital platforms. Jupiter, legendary fortune with building mass communication networks, investing in data analytics firms, or creating platforms that track public trends and metrics. Saturn, the grand graduation of the first decan. Overcoming an early obsession with fitting in or a painful fear of mass rejection. Learning to look at social metrics with absolute detachment to become the master architect of collective communication before transitioning into the Gemini-flavored second decan. Subscribe, like, and share.